With the bull run seemingly back, this is my updated thoughts on that of ski mask stock and where I think we could go realistically throughout 2025. Another update video for you guys. We did one shortly before this. However, this one did not account for us hitting $1,000 per Bitcoin as we have just recently done. So that's why I wanted to make a video on this. Again, this video currently is being filmed on Saturday, May 10th. This will be posted the 11th. So there's of course some discrepancies that things could change throughout that time, but it's a day period. Now, currently ski mask stock, if I pull this up on CoinMarketCap, is that of around 7 cents. I do think that there's definitely potential for ski to do a lot better than it has done in that of December, where we saw amazing growth with it. But there's a couple of factors we'll have to go over what will actually be necessary for that to happen. Now, one of the things that we talked about in the previous video was that in order for ski to do very well, we need the overall market to do really well, of course, right? That goes with any coin, but the point is we're actually seeing that happen within the current market. The current market is doing great. Bitcoin is doing great, passing $100,000 yet again, and I'm looking at a lot of experienced analysts who are predicting us to do very well throughout the entirety of the summer. There's some speculation of where there will be ranging in the $94,000, $97,000 per Bitcoin throughout that time. But a lot of people see us doing very well in that of late Q3 and that of Q4. People see us doing very well in Q4. And I do think that there's definitely a potential for that to happen. Again, these are guys who have years of experience within the markets. I'm all cross-referencing them, checking them, and they all seem to be saying the same thing this time. Whereas, early in the year, there was mixed signals from them. We're now seeing an alignment, at least from the people that I know who have years of experience who actively trade the markets. They do see us doing very well. So with that in mind, that checks the first box that we're looking to check. Again, ski being the past 30 days at 3 cents, you would have bought, then you would have been at a double, taking you to 7 cents. And this is something that I wanted to go over because I think this is pretty important for you guys to understand getting into the market if you're new, but even if you're experienced, because this is something that I had to learn. Let's say you would have bought ski at that of like the 30 cent mark and you put $1,000 in. Well, of course, going all the way down to 3 cents, that would almost be like $100, I believe. You'd be somewhere in that range of, you've lost a decent amount of your money on that coin. I believe it would be a 90% drop. So you've down to $100. However, if you put $1,000 into 3 cents at ski, and then we range back up to now being at 7 cents, well, your $100 would go to around $200. Of course, not too big of a jump, but that $1,000 would go to around $2,100. So now you're at $2,300 in total. Therefore, you're profited $300 overall, even though you bought so high up. Because you made that DCA buy-in, you've now recouped your losses and are now even in the green. So that's something I wanted to go over because it's pretty important to understand the power of DCAing into coins. And realistically, I just wanted to keep that as a note for those of you who potentially were looking to get into ski. Now, again, with that being said, with the $97,000 to $94,000 range being talked about, with Bitcoin dominance being so high, we could definitely see some of these coins dropping at around like 10-20%, those being ski mask stock, for example. And 10-20% for a coin like this, it really is not too big of a deal. This can give you a better buying opportunity though, so I'm going to be looking for those opportunities. I'm going to be DCAing throughout this time anyways. However, in the next couple of months, especially if we start to do very, very well, it's important to make sure that you are taking profits. If you're buying into ski, have profit plans every time you buy. Oh, well, my average buy-in is this. Here's when I should take my initial out. Here's when I should go ahead and take some profits out initially. Therefore, you're guaranteeing yourself that you're not losing money, but then you're even taking profits, guaranteed. Even if the coin happens to do a 50x or something crazy, you still have skin in the game. But again, if the coin drops 100%, it's impossible, but 90%, then you've at least taken out your initial and you've taken some profits along the way. So it covers you in both scenarios. You're not taking out all the profits that you have just on a 2x, but you're taking your initial out at a 2x. Maybe you take some more out at a 3x, and then you leave the rest in for a 5, 10, etc., right? But something that you've researched and you understand logically what this coin can do. And that's what here's what I think. I think Ski Mask Dog, again, though it's not technically in season, that really doesn't matter. What really matters is the community backs a coin like this. It is yet to be listed on Coinbase, which I think is a blessing in disguise at this time, because we saw Dogami and KeyCat being listed earlier this year. And the listing, at least in Dogami, it did have some sort of effect. Or I guess that was Toshi. Toshi did very well after its listing. But Dogami and KeyCat didn't have too great of an impact of it being listed on Coinbase for the both of them. And I think Ski, in these current very hot market conditions, if it can continue to range and potentially even break its all-time high, there's no telling what a listing could do in a hot market condition like this with a token that's previously broken its all-time high. Like, if that can happen, then this coin and Ski Mask stock could do very, very well. But again, that's just a scenario that we've just need to see play out. I think that the short-term targets I'm looking towards are just psychological levels. Like me personally, I'm looking at 10 cents for Ski to break. Then I'm looking at 15, 20, 25. Like, those are pivotal places that we just have to cross through. And if we can cross through those, then I'm very confident that we can do very well within the near future, especially if the market, like I said, continues to do very well. Ski potentially gets a listing. There's a lot of factors that could go into this coin doing very, very well within the market. And simply comparing this to other coins similar, like Dog with Hat, this token could do very well. Very well. And we've talked about this before. I think Ski has the potential, not guarantee, to get above $1. I don't know what that range would be, if it'd be $2 to $5, whatever it would be. But I do think it has the potential to get above $1. So with that being said, that's not guaranteed. We, of course, still even have to break 50 cents. Like, that's an area we haven't even got near to. We've got close, but not near. And then we'd have to break 75, then we'd have to break $1. So there's a lot of hoops to go through to even get past $1. But I do think it is possible. And I do think that Ski has a lot of potential. I mean, like I said, community's been backing this for a very long time. Base has been so underexposed this entire time within the market. But if Ski can get its edge, and if it can get that listing and more support for it, this coin could do very, very well within the markets, in my opinion, based off my own research and based off just the logic that I've been applied to it. So that's going to be it for me today, guys. Just a little update on Ski, since the market is in a way better position than it was when we talked about this video. With all that being said, I'll see you guys later.